The Big Sick is directed by Michael Showalter and stars Kumail Nanjiani as himself in a story about how he met someone who was very special to him and the rocky relationship that they had together and how they came to appreciate each other and how they traversed the difficulties of being from different cultures. Kumail is from Pakistan and Zoe Kazan plays Emily, the girl he's dating, and she's white and obviously from America. Kumail's background is very much so that you adhere to your family's wishes, you pray often, and you also follow arranged marriage. There's a great line in the movie where he says, "In my country, arranged marriage is just called marriage." And that's what we're dealing with here. So it's about the complexities of clashing cultures. But that's kind of what I thought going in, and what the movie actually became was great, because it really subverted all of my expectations. There are films like this, like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier, which is one of the most classic films about a romance with clashing cultures. But what made this film stand out to me is its second act, because something happens that causes Kumail to have to spend a lot of time with Emily's parents, played by Holly Hunter and Ray Romano. Great to see him in a movie, let alone a good movie. Haven't seen him in forever, and he was really funny too in this film. But that second act in which he has to basically get close to her parents and learn about her past, and her parents have to wrestle with their own inner demons. And so it was very different to see in a romantic comedy, not just our two lead characters being fuzzy and excited, and then they break up and it's sad, and then there's a montage of sadness, and then they eventually get back together. And that highly original second act really made this romantic comedy stand out to me, and I had a blast watching it. Kumail Nanjiani is a effing revelation in this movie. He is so funny. I was quite often in stitches laughing, and there's something that's captured here that felt very real. It almost felt like I was a fly on the wall watching real events. Now, this is based off of a true story, and who knows how much of it is fact and how much of it is fiction and what liberties were taken. But it really did feel almost documentary-esque at times, where I just felt like I was watching real conversations play out. It doesn't feel like anyone is overdoing it for the camera. Even some of the sequences that get more dark and a little more powerful, they still find a way to get a smile out of it. Which I think if you take away all the things about this movie that are great, which are amazing performances from Zoe Kazan and Kumail Nanjiani, Ray Romano, and Holly Hunter, all of the great chemistry between these actors, and the comedy, you take all that away, the reason this movie works so well is because it's refreshingly unpretentious, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's just a blast from start to finish. It's a really funny movie, and it's about something that feels real. I think a lot of people are going to relate to Kumail in this movie and his struggle. His parents want him to adhere to a very strict list of guidelines. They want him to meet women, and only Pakistani women, and when they want him to meet them, that's when he gets to meet them. He must be a doctor or a lawyer. Other things, they're not too happy about that. And if he doesn't follow these guidelines, he will be kicked out of the family and not spoken to again. And I think a lot of people have been raised with parents who want them to do very specific things and want them to go in a certain path. And I think most children, as we grow into adults, have a fear of displeasing our family. And that's also captured beautifully here, because it's not just a romantic comedy that's funny. It's also about how hard it is to please your family, and how hard it is for him to please Emily's family, because it's also, as I said, about getting close to them, because he's from Pakistan and they're like, I don't know about you. And there's a lot of scenes where they have to work out their differences. And it was never handled in that cliched way that you would expect it to, where they have like some big moment where they explode about their beliefs or whatever. It was all very lighthearted. Jokes are made about it. And this movie is just really entertaining. If I were to pinpoint some flaws with it, it goes on a little too long. Towards the third act, it seems like there's a lot of sequences where they are teasing something to happen and then it doesn't happen and you're like, okay. Oh, we're going to get another chance. Okay. And that happens a lot. Now, it's hard to critique true stories sometimes because you want to know, like, is this how it actually played out? And are they simply showing us all the details? And so you don't want to say that something seems unrealistic because maybe that actually happened. At the same time, when you are crafting a true story for film, It's important to know what details to omit from that story to make the film work as good as it can. And the third act does drag at times. Other than that, The Big Sick is a completely refreshing movie, and I had a great time with it. I'm going to give it an A-. I would highly recommend checking this one out. It's very funny, and it finally opened in my neighborhood this weekend. I've been waiting to see it. Guys, I also want to make sure you know to check out my promotion with Audible. If you go to audible.com/Chris, you can get a free 30-day trial of their amazing audiobook service. They have hundreds of thousands of audiobooks on their website for you to download to your iPod, your tablet, your computer, pretty much any device you can think of. You can listen to the audiobooks there. They're a great service, and I just want to thank them for continuing to sponsor my videos. Their library is so vast and so comprehensive that if you don't always have the time to sit down and read, it's a very, very useful tool for people who want to read on the go. Again, that's audible.com/Chris for a free 30-day trial, and thank you very much to Audible for continuing to sponsor my videos, and thank you to you guys for continuing to watch. You guys are the best, and as always, if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.